This is a tardigrade or slow walker on a walkabout. It is a bundle of cuteness, don't you think? Tell me you do not think Tardy is cute, and I'll call you a liar. The blob reaching out to Tardy there, in the upper right part of your screen, is a kind of testate amoeba, a diffluger, but we call it the blob. The blob is not cute. It tries to munch on cute. Remember, prey is cute, blob is not. So now you know who to cheer for in this saga. Prepare yourself for Mite-T. Although his cuteness factor is not as apparent, it deserves our sympathy and admiration for the epic test of endurance he is living right now. This is our water-mite, Mite-T. And the test he faces, well, he does not face the test. It is a test, a shell, stuck to his butt. The test looks similar to the test that the blob occupies. This one belongs to Blob 2, a nephew of Blob. The question is Blob 2 still at home and preparing Mite-T for dinner? Mites, as like tardigrades, are not on the testate amoeba's menu. For all we know, Blob 2 moved house and Mite-T just has a hollow piece of debris trailing his butt, and is not about to serve as dinner. Most likely, the test is soon to fall off while moving about. Let's follow Mite-T for a while and see what will happen to him next. In less dense aggregate, Mite-T has problems getting traction and tries to find squeeze through passages, almost as if deciding to increase the drag to pull off this darn test. He is in quite a pickle here, because, if he gets stuck, intended or not, trying to pull through must be exhausting. We keep inspecting the butt test goo connection to see if we can spot Blob 2 sticking out a pseudopod. That will prove he is in there. It is now real time, 11.5 minutes after we began tracking Mite-T. At last, his effort seems to have an effect. The test now trails on stretched goo, which looks more like a rubber material. Maybe the adhesive with which Blob 2 builds the test. Mite-T continues to trail and backtrack, trying to loosen the test. We get a nice clear side view. Experts may find some interesting clues seeing the insides exposed. It is now real time, 25 minutes after we began tracking Mite-T, when he stumbles into Big Mite, a mite 3 times Mite-T's size. Big Mite pretends to be a piece of aggregate while Mite-T crawls all over him. When Mite-T gets off of Big Mite, we have another clear view on the goo connection. It takes a lengthy 3 minutes before Big Mite shows he is still alive. Mite-T senses an opportunity and hops onto Big Mite again for a one-on-one. Alive but annoyed with Mite-T crawling all over him, Big Mite tries 6 long minutes to escape the situation. Big Mite pushes and crawls all over Mite-T and the test. Nothing gives, but after 9 minutes into the encounter, it looks like Big Mite almost rips the test off of Mite-T. With all this wrestling, it is amazing the test still hangs on. Alas, another 16 minutes of wrestling later, Big Mite leaves the scene and Mite-T is on its own again. Big Mite left 9 minutes ago. All this time Mite-T crawls and squeezes through the dense aggregate. Then the test gets wedged in. Mite-T tries to free itself. Mite-T gives it his all to rip off the test for 5 intensive minutes, making use of boulders as big as himself. He puts high tension on the goo connection, But the wedge is not strong enough. 55 minutes after the start of the observation, the test slips through, still attached, and the train is back on the road again. A grueling 1 hour and 20 minutes after the start of the ordeal, a sequence of events unfold which shows that testate amoeba attack on animals like our water-mite, Mite-T, and tardy the lucky tardigrade is more the rule than an exception. Look top right on the screen, see the testate amoeba stretching out a pseudopod? I guess a commotion in the water attracts it. But of course, only further observations under controlled conditions can confirm such a guess. For now, it helps to remind us of how a pseudopod looks. Only 6 minutes later we see that the attached test on Mite-T projects pseudopods. Now we can rule out the trailing debris hypothesis. Blob 2 is alive and tries for the last 1.5 hours to hold on to Mite-T. My impression is that Blob 2 senses that the force applied by its prey, Mite-T, weakens. Mite-T appears to have no traction and moves less energetic. Blob 2 uses this signal, I guess, as a cue to brace itself in the aggregate and further immobilize its prey. The pseudopods become more active and the attachment point between the test and Mite-T is unclear. Maybe it attaches to the back of Mite-T? After some time, a goo mass seems to detach from the test. It is not Mite-T that freed itself from the test. It looks like Blob 2 freed itself, or something else, from its test. Close examination of the test after the GUMA's detached shows Blob 2 project's new pseudopods. So he is still at home. I wonder if maybe Blob 2 left Mite-T as a present. Is there a Blob Jr. hanging on in the goo trail waiting for Mite-T to die and then feast on his flesh? Mite-T still has some juice in his batteries, recuperates and charges ahead for another 24 grueling minutes before he walks out of our view. Goo Blob still trailing, and also the answer to our question. What do you think? Hungry Blob 2 leaving a present for Blob Jr. or just enjoying the ride? Like, share and subscribe.